dear God, here we go, talking about the latest Grinch trailer, and I'm not even kidding, as I did in the intro. When I watched the trailer yesterday, it honestly made me so angry. I literally took this copy of Avatar Season 2, Volume 2, and just bashed my head a few times, like what Gordon Ramsay did on Hell's Kitchen once. But, yeah, I mean... it's really weird. It honestly doesn't do anything that much worse than the other Grinch trailers. Like, I've shown you the one where he's figure skating, the one that came out around the Pyeongchang Olympics where he's figure skating, they're playing the pop song, and that was really bad. There was that other one I did where he gets up in the morning and the song playing on his alarm clock was Pharrell's song Happy, which I don't have anything against the song. I think a lot of people are sick of it, but we know you put it in Illumination because you put in Despicable Me Too, so there's your giant-ass wink to the audience, except rather than a wink, it felt more like a... It's just bizarre how angry this trailer makes me, as you're about to see. And as you can guess, this isn't really a trailer reaction. This is more of a trailer discussion since I've already seen it. I've actually seen it twice. Once with, once by myself. The other time I showed Penny and she basically said, her point is still the same where she really hates how the Grinch is walking around Whoville like an everyday citizen, which I'll get into shortly. But for now, let's hopefully get into the trailer, which I was going to upload a trailer reaction, but yesterday my computer was having such a hard time encoding it that I only got an audio file, and I really want to be on camera discussing this with you guys, so hopefully this works out. So without further ado, let's get into this trailer.
Merry Christmas to you!
And here comes the first really bad joke.
You're a mean one, mister.
Sure. I probably won't be as angry as I was yesterday, only because I think at this point I'm just so immune to this trailer's shittiness. And there's a second problem. The song.
Cookie. This is our enemy. No.
It's like, is the Grinch, is he frickin' American gangster? Like, why?
Who is this mean fellow with his skin all green and his teeth all yellow?
By the way, Mold Spice! Fucking Mold Spice! Okay, this joke is, I think, is like the one I really like from all the trailers.
This is the loudest snow I've ever heard in my life.
You got termites in your smile.
If I'm gonna become Santa, then I need to get into character.
Okay, this one is kind of funny too, him trying to batten up into Santa.
You're a monster. Your heart's in a demon.
Now we'll be riding in style. Ho, ho, ho.
Autumn decoration, tear 'em down. You can ask Max how to play around. Hey, you.
Just like in the Ron Howard.
Fellow with his skin all green and his teeth all yellow.
Next, I'm promoting you. You will guide my sleigh tonight.
Well, we don't get that rocket seat sleigh that we got in the Jim Carrey live-action movie.
Yes, Max.
The Grinch.
Max, you know the rules. You sleep in your bed, and I sleep in. Max, did you teach him puppy eyes?
Yeah.
Fine.
This is the kind of trailer that I would cringe if I had to take my parents to see a movie.
You're a mean one.
So, oh hi, Phantom Strider. So, yeah. It honestly just made me really pissed off yesterday when I was trying to do my first trailer reaction. I mean, first of all, usual suspect, the hip-hop version of the You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and that Really? Did they have to make a, you're a mean one, mister? Like, once again, instead of a wink to the audience, you get a big smack. So it's just like, really? It's so funny. I'm going to make so many references to my original take, but I said in that one that it just feels like, you know, instead of just hammering a joke on the head a little too hard, it's like they're like stabbing it in your brain too hard. You know, kind of like, yeah, I mean, just, at this point, I think I've just become so immune to this trailer that I can't even react or think logically, just the problems with it. I guess the other thing I should bring up, I only realized this after watching this trailer, even though it's been, you know, hinted at in the previous trailers, is Benedict Cumberbatch's acting, which I'll give him credit that he doesn't, you know, sound like Benedict Cumberbatch, like, you know, he gets into the character, but the thing about the Grinch is, like, I kind of get the feeling, and maybe I'm overanalyzing, that they're trying to make him down to earth, like, they're trying to put this character down to earth a little too much. Well, part of it is, you know, he walks around like he's just a typical Who, which, you know, takes away from how threatening he is, because, you know, as you know, the Grinch is supposed to be this isolated, threatening curmudgeon, you know, this character who really hates how noisy and crazy Christmas is. And also in this movie, kind of like the Ron Howard live-action Grinch movie, which, that movie is honestly kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I know people don't like how there's a lot of adult jokes in that one, but I kind of think it's more of a guilty pleasure for me. But in this one, they tried to give him more of a pass, because in previous trailers, he was left behind in this orphanage on Christmas. So, okay, they're giving him sort of reason rather than just, you know, he hates Christmas just because of, you know, it's noisy and bouncy and ridiculous. Which I kind of feel, you know, there's kind of reason, that's kind of a legit reason for people nowadays if they don't like the craziness of Christmas. But, you know, regardless, I kind of felt Benedict Cumberbatch's acting. You notice how his character talks and kind of acts and talks kind of in a more sly way, whereas compared to the other, you know, Grinches, like, you know, you could point to Boris Karloff in the How the Grinch Stole Christmas cartoon, the Chuck Jones cartoon, or even Jim Carrey when he played the Grinch in live-action movie, was this really grumpy character. And, you know, even though, yeah, in the Ron Howard Grinch movie, Jim Carrey was very over-the-top and very annoying, and just, he still comes off as this really grumpy character who loathes Christmas entirely. Even though it's kind of ridiculous that he picks up a phone book and says, so-and-so who, I hate you! As my voice cracks. But just, yeah, I honestly think this Grinch is way too down to earth. And I know they're trying to make him, you know, more approachable. I guess you could say more relatable, although I can't really say I know anybody who outright hates Christmas. But if that's what they're going for, they're trying a little too hard. Like, he doesn't have to talk like, you know, he's just a casual person walking around. That takes away from how isolated he is. Like, okay, you don't want to make him a creepy character. You want people to see it's not that he's evil. It's just, you know, he's losing it over this holiday, which honestly, that kind of, you know, gives reason for the original Grinch story by Dr. Seuss why they didn't give him a trouble pass. But it's just like, you don't have to, like, you know, make him I kind of wish, especially, you know, with Benedict Cumberbatch, I feel like he could pull off a, you know, creepy voice. I'm sure he could do it. Instead, you know, you just bring him to talk in this really sly, you know, very too casual kind of a way. So, yeah, and as, you know, my sister, you know, Penny said, and I think even I've said it before, you know, him just walking around like he's a typical Who. I guess you could say he's kind of like, you know, that one grumpy person who walks around society, who just deals with the crap of everyday life. You know, he goes walking around shopping, communicates with people, even though he really hates the world around, and kind of in like that sort of taxi driver / Catcher in the Rye sort of way. I guess that could work, but this Grinch, the way they're portraying the Grinch, is not in a very threatening way. Like, we don't get the sense that he really hates Christmas. I mean, we sort of do, but he doesn't come off in this, like, grumpy, isolated way we saw in either in the book or the Chuck Jones cartoon, or even the Ron Howard Grinch movie. It's just like, is this, like, I'm wondering, is this movie gonna come out and it's gonna be even worse than the Ron Howard Grinch movie? Which, it's just like, it's kind of tough to make things worse than the Ron Howard Grinch movie, because, so is it gonna be like the Ron Howard Grinch was not good because there was too many adult jokes and Jim Carrey could get kind of annoying, whereas this new Grinch movie is just a really bad kids movie, which is kind of in the vein, I guess you could say, of a lot of Illumination's movies anyway, where many of them, and I gotta say, maybe I'm lucky because I haven't seen the really, really bad Illumination movies like Sing or the Lorax. I've seen three of the Dr. Seuss movies. I've seen The Grinch, Cat in the Hat, or Horton Hears a Who. I haven't seen the Lorax, so, and that was my thumb. I wasn't giving you guys the finger, but maybe I would give this trailer the fucking finger. But anyway, I'm sorry about that. But I mean, that's just the thing with Illumination movies. It's just you come out just typical kids movie, and then sometimes you try too hard, and then it looks like crap, like this movie. But the thing about the Despicable Me and Sing is just you come out, you have decent message. Don't try anything super new. Just be typical kids movie, so you don't have to try as hard, so you can save money to make these movies. And then they come out, they're not horrible, but they're just decent enough that you'll still go back to see them, which doesn't really drive good art, but it's just typical, corporate, we need quick cash money, so let's make another Dr. Seuss movie, this time with the Grinch. So it's just, there you go. I mean, that's just kind of Illumination's philosophy of just make a movie that's decent enough so that we don't have to spend a ton of money to try to make it good, but it's not bad to the point where nobody will go see it. It's to the point where kids will enjoy it and their parents will tolerate it just enough that they'll take their kids to go see it. So, it's kind of the Illumination way. The films I've seen from them, Despicable Me, Minions, which I know a lot of people hate Minions, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as a lot of people say it is. And I've also seen Sing, which Sing I thought was pretty decent, but, they're not exactly Pixar, which I said in my initial recording that I don't even want to see Illumination be like a Pixar per se. Even though I really like Pixar movies, like I really like Inside Out and Coco, I will say I do think Pixar movies can get really formulaic and just like I don't really know how it is. It feels like even though they're very good heartwarming movies, you do get a sense of their very, kind of proper sort of style. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels really fixated. It doesn't, because I want to see a movie, have a lot more liberties. I want to see a studio have a lot more fun with making their movies, which some could argue, well, DreamWorks is already doing that, even though right now DreamWorks is kind of in a slump, but they made, some decent movies like the Shrek movies, Kung Fu Panda, and How to Train Your Dragon. So I guess I could say that I wish Illumination was a lot more like DreamWorks, which is really weird for the reasons I just said, and also because DreamWorks is also now under Universal's reign, just like Illumination is. But I just wish that they made fun, but still really, really good and even kind of thought-provoking movies, which I don't think we're going to get with The Grinch. Is The Grinch going to be nearly as bad as the Ron Howard Grinch movie? Which, even though I said is a guilty pleasure, I'm not going to say it's perfect. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 6 out of 10. Because I do see the flaws. Like, I totally get what people mean when they say they think Jim Carrey's acting is over the top. And I know Jim Carrey can be a funnier actor in other movies and even his stand-up. So, and then there are also the adult jokes, like, when he lands on, like, a woman's breast. And then there's that really infamous scene where he has the mayor kiss Max the dog's ass, which I don't know why. I never got that as a kid. I didn't know what he was doing. And then when I grew up and realized when Max went, when his eyes went wide, it's just like, oh, you just made the mayor kiss the dog's ass. So, is this Grinch going to be even worse than the Ron Howard Grinch movie. Well, we won't know until it comes out, but I'm getting vibes that if it is worse than the Ron Howard Grinch, it's gonna be worse for different reasons. It's gonna be more that the Grinch just, doesn't have, that this Grinch may not have as many good jokes. And there are a couple good jokes in the trailers, like when he's trying to get into character as Santa by eating way too much food, or when he's walking around and he's like, "This is the loudest snow I've ever heard." But I don't know if those are going to be enough to save this movie. If anything, I'm kind of concerned that this movie is going to be a bit of a bore, mainly because what if it is just him and Max setting up for, this plan and not doing much else? So, if it is worse than the Ron Howard Grinch movie, it's going to be worse for different reasons. Just, I don't know. I'm not one of those people that says you can't make a movie out of a Dr. Seuss book, even though, there's not really good reasons to make Dr. Seuss books into movies since the books themselves work just fine. I still think, especially, nowadays, we live in a world I know some people will argue we're in the tail end of the animation renaissance because shows like Adventure Time are ending, but, there's still some really good animators out there, from Craig McCracken to Alex Hirsch to Darren FC, Rebecca Sugar, the list goes on. With how much creative talent there is in animated TV, I still have hope that there can be a lot of decent, animated movies, or even movies made based on Dr. Seuss. So I think somebody could do it creatively and still keep it in the spirit of Dr. Seuss. But when you give it to corporate overlords like Illumination, you're not going to get something that's in the spirit of Dr. Seuss. Instead, they're going to stick to more doing it the Illumination way, where they don't have to try as hard. The jokes will make kids laugh, even if they don't make a lot of adults laugh, and they're going to throw in a lot of pop culture nonsense because they have to sell kitties, the hip-hop music, and so on and so forth. Which, come to think of it, it's not that I have anything against, putting modern music in a Dr. Seuss movie. Two examples of where I think modern music can do well just so the studios can have their cash money is, one example is, if you guys remember the Peanuts movie, there was that Meghan Trainor song, "I Feel Good When I'm Dancing." And even though, it's very poppy, it's still a fun song, and it's not like trying to, nail you on the head with pop culture references. It's kind of a fun, bouncy song of a modern singer, and I actually really liked it. Like, there are times where I literally look up that song just to have something nice to listen to. Or another example is in the 90s Disney movies, like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Hunchback of Notre Dame. They had pop songs at the very end, in the credits. So it's just that kind of example. And I still really like that songs. Like the song Sanctuary from Hunchback of Notre Dame is a big tearjerker. And the songs from, Beauty and the Beast, there was Celine Dion and People Bryson sang the title song in the credits, and that's really sweet. I love listening to those songs every now and then. So when it's done properly, like put in your credit scene, or you can put the pop songs in, but not make it like in your face, not make it that "how bad can I be," like really trying too hard or to make a song that kids will like. When you do it properly, like whether it's you make a pop song, but don't make it like super, in your face, or when you put it in your credit scene, it works. But when you do it the Illumination way, it can be very hit or miss. It could be missed like in the Lorax, which even though I didn't see Lorax, I did listen to that song, "How Bad Can I Be," on its own, and I'm just like, oh, what the fuck is this? And then there are times where, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of works, like Happy in Despicable Me 2, which I actually used for a music video when I was a counselor for my high school's cross-country camp. But it's just, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm honestly just so immune to this trailer now that I'm just like, its shittiness just kind of rubs off on me. Like, it's just like slapping me with a fish, like in Monty Python, where it's just like, uh, uh, uh. It's just like, I'm just like non-response, or maybe once in a while, oh, fuck, oh, Jesus Christ, So, yeah, I honestly don't have too much hope for this Grinch movie. I honestly hope, at the very least, it'll be as good as something like Despicable Me, or, I don't want to say it, Minions, which I said it anyway. Which I know a lot of people hate Minions because it's a really annoying movie, but at least it's not a sin against nature bad, you know? It's not like they're watching Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, it's so bad. So, who knows, we'll just have to see when it comes out. I mean, I was honestly, when I saw the Rotten Tomato score, which, don't, rely on any movie review site for your opinion. You should it can be an indicator of will you like this movie or not. But if you're still interested in the movie, you should go see it, whether Rotten Tomatoes says it's a 90% or a 60%. But remember seeing the Rotten Tomatoes score for the Lorax, and at first it was sitting at the 60s, and I'm just like, maybe it'll be semi-decent. And then the score dropped to, where is it sitting at now? 53%. And then, of course, I saw, lots of reviews of the Lorax, like the one from Nostalgia Chick and the one from Nostalgia Critic back before we found out how cruel Channel Awesome is. And, my hopes just went down the drain.
Uh-oh. Looks like my screen recorder forgot to record the last bits of my Grinch trailer discussion. But anyway, I think I'll just leave it here. I'm very concerned about the new Grinch animated movie. I'm not sure if it's going to be good. I'll just leave it at, I hope it's at least as good as something like Despicable Me. I mean, yeah, that's not a great example, but at least it'll be semi-decent that way. So, anyway, I would like to know your guys' thoughts. What did you think of this trailer? Do you think it has any redeemable traits? Are you excited for this new Grinch movie or not? Let me know all your thoughts down below. If you have any ideas for news videos, please feel free to let me know in the comments, or you can also email me. My email address is in the description of this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later. Hey guys, be sure to like this Blood Moon Bobby video if you enjoyed it. Please share this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment. Be sure to ring the notification bell to be notified about my latest upload. Follow me on my social media pages at Blood Moon Bobby to find out about what I'll be covering next and for more of my opinions. Thanks for watching.